In this Google Educator Level 1 video tutorial, we're going to be exploring cloud storage with Google Drive. I have to tell you, Google Drive is one of my favorite Google Suites tools. And in this particular segment, we are going to be defining Drive and identifying a variety of uses for it in a school setting. And there are many possible uses for it. We are also going to access Drive from the app launch icon, as well as search for files in Drive, open files in Drive, copy and share links of PDFs shared via Drive, create, move, and delete folders, as well as upload files to Drive. Now, if you're not familiar with cloud storage or the idea of cloud storage, you may have heard of other tools like Dropbox or OneDrive. And these are spaces online in the cloud where you can save your work. The real benefit of that is that you can save your work in the cloud, which is essentially saving your work on Google's web servers or servers out there. And those servers are backed up on a regular basis. So if your hard drive crashes, all your data, all your precious documents, all the time that you spent putting those documents together, that's all protected because it is in cloud storage. However, cloud storage may not be the perfect place if you have super confidential documents. You may need to encrypt your files that you store in the cloud. But for G Suite for Education users, all of the information that you put in the cloud is encrypted and protected by Google. So let's actually jump into Google Drive. I'm going to come back here to my email and come over to my app launcher, and right down here there is the Google Drive icon. I'm going to click on Drive, and what that's going to do is open up my Google Drive. As soon as I do that, you'll notice that Google Drive has a pretty distinctive look. Down the left hand side, I have this big button that says New. It's got a multicolored plus symbol that sort of captures the colors of Google. When I click on that plus symbol, it allows me to create folders. It also allows me to upload files, folders, so I can throw a whole folder of data and information up there at once. This is just something that I want to encourage you to do, that if you have access to Google Drive, to use it to back up any files that you have on your specific device. That way you're working from what's on Google Drive rather than from your particular computer, because hard drives fail. And I can't tell you how many true stories, how many times I've heard the true story of someone's hard drive failing and they lost all their data. So now that we've accessed Google Drive and we're here, this new button will allow us to create a word processing file, Google Docs. It also allows us to create Google Sheets, which is essentially a spreadsheet where we can do math calculations and create graphs. Google Slides for presentations and slide decks. And then if we click here where it says More, we can also create Google Forms to capture data, gather data, Google Drawings to create drawings. As you can see, there's also Google Sites, and then you can add additional apps that will enable you to save content. So here we have beautiful audio editor, which allows me to record and edit audio and save that to Google Drive. Pear Deck, Loop Collage, which lets me create collages. Pixlr Editor, which lets me do image editing, and Zoho Sheet, which is essentially another spreadsheet program. All of these, starting here with barcode scanner on down, are add-ons. They're apps that I have added to Google Drive. Our focus today is really on the Google tools, and let's continue our exploration of Google Drive. So all of that was under this New button, and you're going to be using the New button quite a bit as you play around with Drive. In fact, I recommend that your workflow be to come to drive.google.com first, log in, and then you're able to begin working and creating. Or, as I mentioned, you can come to your Gmail, come up here to the app launcher or the waffle, click on that, and then go down to Drive, and it will drop you here. Now, if you're in a G Suite for Education, you have what are called team drives, and that's beyond the scope of today's session, but team drives are essentially a way that if you have a department or grade level team, or even a campus team, you can place documents there so that everyone can access and work on them. So think of it as a collaboration space where you can put content. You also have computers, and this essentially can sort of be a place to access your computers, your information. There's also a space with Shared with Me, and these are documents that maybe someone has shared with you, and so you can access those. Anything that you've been working on recently. Some people actually bookmark or add this to their favorites, and they start up their browser, they go straight to their recent so they can continue working on what they've been doing. Any items that you've starred, that is items that are important, are also here. And then of course your trash can. These are all the things that maybe have been deleted, and you can always come up and see, wow, look at all this stuff. Over here on the right hand side of the screen, far right hand side, you'll see there's an empty trash button, and so it's always good to empty your trash from time to time. Or you can just leave it alone, and you don't need to actually delete stuff from your trash can or empty the trash, because Google will empty it out periodically. Usually I believe it's every 30 days. Don't quote me on that. Now, let's say that I wanted to find a file in Drive. So I could come up here to Search Drive, and when I do Search Drive, it says, what do you want to search? Do you want to search everything? Do you want to search PDFs, text documents, spreadsheets, presentations, photos, images, videos? And if I click on More Search Tools, it even lets me search by who the owner is. So if I wanted to, I could choose a specific person and then enter an email address. Just for fun, I'm going to enter Peggy Reimers, preimers@tca.org, and do a quick search on hers. What are things that Peggy is the owner of that she has shared with me? And you can see I have quite a few things that have been shared with me from Peggy. And this is just a quick search. Now I see that one of these documents is top Google tools for coaches. So I'm kind of curious about that. I could just open it up that way, but I could also do another search by the title. So if you know the title of something, see how Google just sort of pops up the suggestion. Is this what you're looking for? I could also do brainstorming. And if I do a search on brainstorming, there's quite a bit of content here. So it's going to pop those up and share them. So that is just a very quick way to search for files in Drive. To actually open a file, I can come down here to a file, double click on it, and it's going to open it right up. Here's Ghosty Story Starter. This is actually a slide deck, a slideshow that's in there. My Drive is still open, so I can have this tab open and then just come back over and continue working if I want to. If I wanted to share a particular document that I have, let's say that if I can come into here, and let me see if let's say I wanted to share this Google Apps training services. So if I wanted to share that document, all I would need to do is right click on it and choose Share. And depending on how sharing has been set up, this one is actually already set up to be shared for anyone with the link can view. And this is great to use if you're sharing with staff or community members that maybe don't have a Google account. You just want to share it with anyone so that they'll be able to see it. You definitely don't want to share anything with confidential or personally identifiable information in this way. So be aware of what files are inside a folder if you're sharing a folder, and make sure that you're not sharing any confidential information. But otherwise, being able to just copy the link, and then what you can do is you can just paste in the address, and there you go. You'll see here's all of information from Eric Kurtz, and he's got a variety of different, he's sharing about things he does with Google. Now, if you're inside of a document, let's say that you wanted to access this ghosty story starter and you wanted to share it with other people, you could just come up to the top right hand corner, click on share, and you can see that the sharing that's been set up on this document is that anyone on the internet can find and edit this document. Now, usually, most documents that you share are anyone at your organization with the link can view. That's usually what we see, but you have to make the effort to click on more and then click on anyone with the link, or if you, as this document was originally shared, public on the web. And that way anyone can access it and take advantage of it and use it. Now, one of the things that you may encounter is that let's say that you have a PDF file. I have quite a few PDFs. Let me quickly grab this radio wrist cuff activity with microbit. Let's say that I wanted to share this PDF with others. Sometimes PDFs can be quite large. You can see this one's multiple pages. It's picture rich, and so it could be pretty big. And I don't want to send that via email because people might not have a inbox that can handle it or enough space in their inbox for email. So what I can do is come up here to these three little dots and share this document. And right now, as you can see, the default sharing is anyone at my organization with the link can view. But if I click on that and go to more, I can choose anyone with the link. And now I have an address that I can share with others. So I click on copy, and then I'll be able to paste that and send it. I'm also able to quickly type in an email address here, such as Peggy, and then write a short note. As you can see, I've added a note, and it'll have a notify people. This will send this notification out to her. She'll get it as an email in her inbox, and I'm just going to send this to myself as well so that I get a copy of it. When I click send, in about a minute or two, we're both going to get that message. While we're waiting, oops, I see the email has already arrived. I come back over to my inbox and I see that there's that radio wrist cuff activity, and you can see that it has Miguel Gulen has shared the following PDF, and there's actually a picture of it. And I have the option to download it, or because I'm using G Suite for Education as my email, I can say, I can save this to my Google Drive. In this way, I don't even have to worry about saving files onto my computer. And this can be really handy if you're using someone else's device, or perhaps you're using a Chromebook and you don't want to fill up the space on that Chromebook with lots of files. Now, one of the last things I want to share with you about Drive is how to organize files. So I'm going to come up here and create what's a new folder. And oops, I clicked the wrong one. I said folder upload. And what I want to do is actually create a new folder. So it's this one up here. And I'm going to just call this one Exploring Drive. And you may be wondering why I put a number 1 right there at the front. But since Drive sorts things alphabetically, when I click on Create, what will happen is that this will come up and be one of my top folders. You'll notice that I have exclamation marks, and because those exclamation marks are there, that puts these folders at the top. But my first folder right underneath that is a 1. So here's my folders. And again, what I encourage you to do is to actually create folders. And I like to create folders sometimes by year. In that way, I'm able to save all my work for a particular school year. Sometimes I also have what are memos that I have to write, and so I save those in a folder. Um, Sometimes I send home news bulletins or homework sheets, and so I want to just create that folder, and inside of that I will put in all of my files for that. So if I decide that I don't want one of these folders, I can always just click on it, right click on it, and choose remove, and that folder is gone. If I decide that I want to move this memos folder somewhere else, I can just come over here to my right hand side, click on the little down delta, and click on the folder I want to move, and then drag it to the place that I want it to be. So I'm going to drag my memos into my desktop, and when I click on the desktop, notice how my breadcrumbs change here at the top, and I now have this folder here that I can continue to drop things into or organize. I might also choose to organize a little bit differently. I can select several files. I held the shift key down and I selected all these files that are next to each other, and then I can just drag them and move them around. So this makes it very easy to drag files around and organize in Google Drive. If I decide I want to move things around even more, I can always just click on a folder and drag it to wherever it is that I want to put it. Thanks for watching this very quick video on Drive.